Well, we rarely, if ever, are able to say that a story may affect every single person who's watching, but that is certainly true with this next I-Team investigation.
Well, whether you're concerned about violence at the workplace or in schools, about the use of dangerous drugs by your children, or your credit card number getting into the wrong hands.
You're going to want to see what Dan Noyes has found on the dark net, and Dan has been educating all of us on this subject today.
Well, Dan and Cheryl, this one really hit home. After I began researching this story, I discussed it with my 12-year-old son. His answer, oh yeah, my friend went on the darknet during school a couple days ago and found an AK-47 for sale and how to hire a hitman. It is real, and we all should know what's out there. I met a college student in Hollister, just south of Gilroy last week, who describes himself as an anarchist. He has attended protests against government corruption. He agreed to show me how he uses the darknet. He launched a special program to log on anonymously.
And we were there.
And pulled up his purchase history for psychedelic drugs, LSD and DMT. He bought them several times using the digital currency Bitcoin, and the drugs arrived by mail. He says the darknet is freedom.
It's pretty much like an Amazon for contraband. If there's something I want and I can't get it on the street, which is, I try not to because it's really dangerous to get stuff on the street.
The dozens of marketplaces on the darknet have all sorts of drugs, illegal ones and others that usually require a prescription. And guns. Here's an AK-47 for $2,200. No background check required. You can buy a bulk pack of working credit card numbers for $10. Rent a hacker to ruin someone's life for $280. Or hire a hitman for $10,000 with a few exceptions. No children under 16 and no top 10 politicians. The college student defends most of it, but not the exploitation of children found on the dark net. How about the child porn?
That's a whole nother story. I am not condoning child pornography at all, and we actually know a group of people that are dedicated to taking down all the child porn on the dark web.
This is like the Wild West.
Well, it's always been equated to that. The Wild West at least had guns and there was a sheriff. And the problem is there's nobody supervising anything that's going on out there. There's no Lone Ranger running out there and protecting people.
Todd Shipley is a cybercrime consultant who allowed us unprecedented access to a seminar for law enforcement about the dark net.
We've got to get them into a position where they're going to reveal who they are.
Federal authorities have made some arrests involving the darknet over the past year. A Florida teen picked up in January for selling a deadly poison to undercover agents he met on a darknet marketplace. 14 men from across the country busted in March for their child porn site on the darknet. The most famous case, Ross Ulbricht, arrested at San Francisco's Glen Park Library last October for running the largest darknet marketplace, Silk Road. And Silk Road is back up.
Yeah. It came back up within like 2 weeks.
Shipley says local police are having a hard time understanding the darknet technology and finding time to monitor all the activity.
And that ends up being the problem because law enforcement has got so many other things to do that spending that amount of time is very difficult.
A key to making the darknet possible is a program built by the government. So the I-Team came here to the Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C. to meet one of the founders of Tor. Tor stands for the Onion Router. The free program that allows anyone to go online anonymously has been downloaded 120 million times in just the past year.
Overall, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but it's been growing steadily.
In his first television interview, Navy Research Lab mathematician Paul Syverson explained that he and 2 colleagues designed Tor for a military application.
Suppose somebody is in a hotel somewhere and they need to communicate back to their home base, and they don't necessarily want the local ISP to know who they work for.
5,000 people around the world have volunteered their computers to act as relays in the Tor network. When you log on, the program randomly chooses 3 of them.
And it uses cryptography so that as the communication moves along, it's changing its appearance. And the idea is that there is no single point that can see both where the communication started and where it ends.
In one of our sessions, Tor showed that the last computer in our chain was in Germany. There's no way to trace us back to the Bay Area. Syverson and his team realized early on that Tor had to be open source, that anyone can look at the computer code and use it freely.
If you make a network that's just for the Navy or even just for the government, then anything popping out of it is known to be coming from the Navy. Anything going in is going to the Navy. And if that's a property you're trying to protect, then you fail.
The technology is being used in so many ways, including against the interests of the U.S. government. Former CIA employee Edward Snowden used Tor to leak thousands of pages of classified documents. Still, the State Department remains one of the major sponsors of the Tor project, the nonprofit in Boston that now oversees the program.
One of our funders is the State Department, and they're all about democracy and human rights, and training labor activists and training democracy activists on how to get online safely.
For example, the Iranian opposition used Tor to upload video of an innocent woman who was shot and killed during the 2009 election protests, sparking international outrage. The Tor project executive director says he and his staff are now involved in an arms race with several countries: Iran, China, Syria, Kazakhstan, and others.
They've all rolled out ways to try to investigate Tor and block Tor, or at least discover who's using Tor when. And we have a team of researchers who think about these things all day long.
On the one hand, the State Department funds Tor, but the Department of Homeland Security is trying to catch those who use it to break the law. Officials at DHS declined to be interviewed, saying in an email, "These investigations are new territory and we don't want to give too much info away to the bad guys." Well, now one final note. Ross Ulbricht has pleaded not guilty. He's scheduled for a hearing on the Silk Road case coming up next month.
It's absolutely fascinating.
It's
and
really
scary.
Wide-ranging, used in so many different ways, good and bad.
Amazing story, Dan. Thank you so much.